Hello, and welcome to today's webinar. I'm Josephine Franklin from the Professional Development Office at NASSP, and I will be your moderator for today's webinar. Today's conversation will be around the Leading Success Toolkit with a focus on the Using Data to Assess and Inform School Change module. NASSP developed the Leading Success Toolkit in collaboration with the College Board. It is an online toolkit for school leaders that integrates current research, planning strategies, and implementation tools with video interviews and real-world examples of school improvement strategies. More recently, NASSP has partnered with the National Association of Elementary School Principals to get the toolkit into the hands of additional middle-level school leaders who work in schools to improve teaching and learning. Today's presenters are Dr. Matt Saferite, Professional Development Coordinator for Bentonville School District in Arkansas. Matt is the former principal of Ramey Junior High School. Under his leadership, Ramey Junior High was designated a breakthrough school for dramatically improving student achievement. It was that designation that led the College Board and NASSP to select Ramey Junior High as one of the schools profiled in the toolkit. Maribel Childress is also joining us, and she is the principal of Monitor Elementary School in Springdale, Arkansas. Maribel is a state and national leader in education, having shared her work and thinking with numerous professional organizations, universities, publications, and conferences. During the webinar, please submit your questions using the question box on your GoToWebinar panel. We will respond to your questions as time permits during the webinar. However, if we don't have time to answer all questions, we will respond by email following the broadcast. If you have a technical problem during the broadcast, please call Rich at 703-860-7259. Today's discussion is being recorded and will be available on our website in the next few days at www.nassp.org in the Professional Development section. And with that, I'd like to bring in our presenters, Matt Saferite and Maribel Childress, to start the webinar.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you on our online webinar this afternoon. On behalf of Maribel and myself and NASSP, NAESP, we want to thank you for taking time out of what we know is a busy day. Just because it's a school day, we know it's a busy day. So whether you're from the West Coast or East Coast or anywhere in between or around the world, thank you for joining us, and we trust today will be a useful bit of your time to show you a tool that you may not have knowledge of right now, and if you do, hopefully we'll expand that knowledge. The agenda for the day, we're going to quickly go over the Leading Success Toolkit. We're going to assume that many of you or most of you have not seen or have not used the toolkit yet. Those of you that are familiar with it, if you'll just indulge us as we give the others a background of the toolkit and its development and what's available in there. We're going to, as Joe said, we're going to focus on one of the modules in there, focusing on data. And Maribel and myself are both going to walk through a couple of the activities that are available in that data module. And as Joe mentioned, we'll have time for questions and answers at the end. And please feel free, as the presentation is going, to use the chat feature to ask for any clarification or ask for any questions that we need to address, and we'll try to address those right in the flow of the presentation, and certainly we'll get to as many as we can by the end of the session. Our goal for the day, we know we've got people from all different grade levels, all different roles, administrators, lead teachers, facilitators, probably some central office folks, but regardless of your role, regardless of your district, we want to help you increase your staff satisfaction in their professional development activities. We want professional development to be more effective and more efficient with how you're organizing your professional development with the stated goal of increased student performance, which is all our goal every day. It's the reason why we're coming to work every day. This is a picture of what the Leading Success website looks like. Again, if you haven't seen it before, I'll go through each of these key features here and give you a general big picture overview first, and then we will go deeper into the data module and actually look at some of the activities. So we're going to start very general and work our way to more specificity. Again, this is an online toolkit that's available to NASSP and NAESP members. It's all online. It integrates current research. Many of us, I think it's safe to assume many of us would like to have more time to do research about current issues in our school to improve our student performance, but quite frankly are limited with the day-to-day operations. There is the research, current research from NASSP and NAESP and their connections to multiple resources. A lot of that research, up-to-date, relevant research is present here in this website for us. The website includes planning strategies, how to take that research and get it into action. There are very specific implementation tools, tools that you can use as is, quote, out of the box, just take it directly off the website and plug it into your school. Of course, not everything works for every person exactly in the same way, so we'll encourage you right off the bat to take the tools that you're seeing here and tweak them or adjust them to make them fit your culture, the DNA of your school, make them fit. Nothing here that Maribel and myself present to you is with the intention that you have to use it exactly as it's presented here. Quite the contrary. If it works for you as presented, that's great, but take it and tweak it. And when you get to the actual activities, we'll talk a little bit more about that. But know that there are very specific tools to help you implement what you see presented here. There are some many video interviews with real-world practitioners, people just like yourself that are doing this every day in schools, that are being successful in their schools across the country, talking about their school improvement strategies, talking about their struggles, talking about what's worked for them, what they've learned, lessons that they've learned, and sharing that information with you. And then a last major component are the activities and discussion guides that Maribel and myself will go through and look at specific examples with you. This website is intended to not be just for principals. Obviously, principals, it's designed with some of the language for you, but whether you're an administrator, whether your district has people that are called coaches or instructional facilitators or lead teachers or whatever the title is, whatever your title is, if you are a school leader in any way, okay, in your school or district, this website is intended to help you, not just the formal leadership, not just people with formal leadership titles. Anybody that's involved in improving their school or district, this is intended for you. A quick summary, a quick overview of what's included in here. Again, we're going to start at a very general level and then work our way down more specific. This was a collaborative project by the NASSP and the College Board. They highlighted 11 different, what they're calling profiled schools that you can see here and are on the website. These are middle school, junior high, and high schools. Again, it started as an NASSP College Board project, which is why the profiled schools don't include elementary schools at this time, but you elementary folks will see the relevance here in just a minute. But for all these 11 profiled schools, you can click on these links to find out more information about the specific schools. The website for each school will link to other parts of the website where a particular school does really well, like Teft Middle School I'm familiar with. Their use of data, it will link you directly to there. So you can, the whole site links around itself. So if you want to focus in a particular area, or if you're looking for something maybe geographically that's a little closer to you, if you're East Coast or Florida or up north, whatever, you might use that as a starting point. Sometimes people want to know, how do I get started with the site? Well, there's lots of different ways. One possible way is find a school in your state. You're working from the state curriculum. You're working under the state testing, same testing requirements and procedures and stuff like that. That's a good way to start. Again, there's lots of other ways. We'll talk more about that in a little bit later. But starting by just looking for a school in your geographic area is not a bad way to start sometimes. Within the website, there are, in addition to those 11 schools that are profiled, the real meat of the website are these 10 different learning modules. And you can see the titles for each of the 10 modules there. Developing leadership skills for change, using data to assess and inform school change. That second one at the top, that's the one we're going to focus on today. All 10 different modules there, and we're only going to look at the data one today, but you need to know that within each module, the format or the structure will be very similar. There will be a summary overview. The same general links will be relevant in there, and the difference will be what that module focuses on and obviously the different activities. And once you see the activities, this will make a little more sense. But know that the structure of each of these 10 modules is the same. And of course, they correlate to each other and overlap with each other. Elementary folks, I said on that last slide that the profiled schools were all middle schools and high schools. I hope you see, even if you're not at all familiar with the website, I hope you see just looking at the titles of these 10 modules without even opening one, just looking at the titles, you'll see the relevance. And Maribel, as a career elementary principal and teacher, very distinguished principal, she will speak to more of the relevance here. But every school, just starting at the top, every school we need to improve our leadership for change. Every school has to use data. College-going culture is not simply a high school thing. Inclusive school culture, student voices, all the way across, all 10 of these are very applicable regardless of grade level, regardless if you're high-performing, low-performing, large schools, small schools, urban, rural, rich or poor, regardless of the context that you're working in right now. I think NASSP and NAESP and the College Board have really done a good job of making these modules applicable to your specific situation. They're all specific enough that you can get the benefit out of them, but general enough that they're not so prescriptive to a specific set of requirements there. So there's the 10 modules, and again, we're going to, when we dive into that, we're going to focus on this second one here, using data to assess and inform school change. Before we get into the actual, looking at the actual module, I want to give you a little bit more background on the overview of where this came from. Those of you that are familiar with NASSP's works really, the Breaking Ranks framework, which is a seminal piece in our country's educational development, is built on what has been summarized here in this diagram of 3 primary areas, those being the collaborative leadership and the staff learning, professional learning. The second one being personalizing the school environment for staff and students, and then the curriculum instruction assessment piece. Those 3 key areas and their corresponding overlapping areas is what the Breaking Ranks framework has been built on. Breaking Ranks has got general school improvement processes for schools and for districts. They've done a lot of work with specific areas. For example, Breaking Ranks framework applied to mathematics and other areas and stuff like that. But here's the foundation, if you were, upon which today's website that we're going to talk about is built on. Okay? Everything's going to come back to these 3 areas: school environment, curriculum instruction assessment, and professional learning for staff. For example, let me be a little more specific. Today's data module that we're going to talk about, using data in your school to influence and improve your school, obviously has to do with professional learning, your staff's professional learning. Part of the data we'll be talking about personalizing your school environment for your teachers, for your staff, and obviously focused on curriculum instruction assessment. So any one of those 10 modules, all 10 of those modules that are in this website are built on this framework. All 10 of the modules will be built on this foundation that you see in this diagram here. All of them will touch. So part of the question that you all are thinking about, and by virtue of being on this a webinar today, you're already thinking about this, is what do you want your PD to accomplish? Knowing what you want your PD to accomplish in these areas, the overlap of these areas, then you're looking for tools, and hopefully today's website examination will give you the tools to help you accomplish what your goals are for your school, for your staff, for your district. I'm about to move from this PowerPoint onto the live site. Again, I'd encourage, as we're going, if there's something you want to chat in and ask us a specific question, please do this. At this time, I'm going to switch over to our the actual live site here. Okay. When you go to the, in fact, I'm going to back out just a little bit. When you go to the NASSP.org website, okay, NASSP.org, this website is found up here at the top. If you go on these major bullet headings, if you go to their professional development link, and then you can see the description here. You were here because this is where you signed up for today's webinar and stuff. But this leading success link right here, this one of these first hyperlinks right here, is where you can find everything we're going to talk about today. So here's the leading success website. Just to give you a different voice, I'm going to play this introductory trailer and let you see a quick overview, just about a 2-minute trailer, quick overview of the Leading Success website, and then I'll come back. We'll talk more about the section, we'll talk more about the module, and then look specifically at the activity.
From San Diego to New York, from Arkansas, the Menominee Indian Reservation in Wisconsin, north, south, east, and west, urban, rural, across America, rigorous, relevant, personalized, and inclusive schools are erasing the tragedy of overlooked potential. In a new website about leaders in education who've assessed themselves honestly and strategically, you'll witness 1,000 small incremental victories that are amounting to something very big. We share the techniques in an innovative web toolkit free to all educators. The College Board and the National Association of Secondary School Principals are proud to introduce Leading Success, dynamic solutions for every school, each student.
What this website does is start to lay out what are the beginning effective practices, but also we've included discussion guides and information and resources that these leaders can take back to their schools and work with over time.
I'm able to get the video clips of what's working in schools and what's powerful and productive with students. We have proven practices. We have the research that supports it. We will have articles for discussions with staff. We will have an online community where the conversation can continue.
They're going to get the opportunity to see a diverse selection of schools in different socioeconomic tiers in different parts of the country. And so this is not a website just for leaders of disadvantaged schools. The schools profiled and the courageous steps they've taken are a lesson in excellence for everyone, a lesson in applying proven practices and customizing them to your school. We need to focus on the importance of all students being successful, not just some students. And regardless of your own personal style, there are lessons in here that can be applied and be beneficial to all school leaders across America.
Personally, I say dare to be different, you know? Just, it makes the world a much more interesting place.
Okay, again, that gives you a nice little introduction to the overall website. One of many things I like about showing people that summary trailer there is I hope you see your kids there. Okay? Maybe not literally, but I think everybody that's attending this webinar can see their kids. They can see a kid that looks like a kid in their school, something about those schools that are quickly shown there that relates to your school. Again, this has been very intentionally built, that it is relevant to should be relevant to every school in the country, pre-K through 12th grade. As I mentioned earlier, on this website, there are 10 different modules, which you can see the link to each one of the modules up and down the side here. We're going to focus on Module 2 here in a minute, get more specific looking at the specific activities in there. Again, the link to those profiled schools, if you want to look at a specific school, maybe in your geographic area, or your high school, and you want to see what some other high schools are doing, or middle school, or et cetera, here's your link to your profiled schools. Here's also the other way to get to those same modules, the 10 modules, the profiled schools, and some more information there. We're going to go ahead and go into Module 2, the specific module we're going to look at today. And I want to highlight 3 main sections for everybody. Again, all 10 modules of the website have these 3 sections. Okay? They all start off with a summary statement about the purpose of this module. Okay? They all have at least one, most of them have 2 or 3 videos that are somewhat introductory videos, but they're also best practices being shared that other schools are doing. Each video usually has 2 or 3 profiled schools and has their practices explained in there. All of these videos are very brief. They're not 30 and 40-minute videos. They're 2 and 3 and 4 minutes. Very meaty, very intentionally designed that to capture just what you need, whether you want to give this as, quote, homework for your staff to review something and come into a faculty meeting, let's say, prepared, having watched this video. If you want to kick off a faculty meeting, a professional development activity, if you want to finish, if you want to embed one of these videos in there, all these videos are intended for that in mind. Okay. The next section here that every module has is these collaborative activities. We're going to look at 2 of those here in just a little bit. There's 3, 4, 5 different activities for each one of these modules. So just doing the math right there, you got 10 modules with an average of 4 or 5 activities for each one. You've got 40 to 50 to 60 very specific, very research-based, very vetted collaborative activities that you can take back and use in your school this afternoon, tomorrow, next week, next month. I'm going to come back to the collaborative activities. That's where we're going to spend the balance of our time here. But I do want to point out 2 other key areas. Again, these are in every module. They're specific to every module. So what I'm going to show you quickly here is not what you would see in the other modules. This section here is titled Want to Know More. That's in every section, as is what this research shows. Okay? So they are just what they said. If you don't have the time, and I never did as an almost 20-year principal, to go and really spend the time I wanted to spend on looking up the research, I needed a one-stop shopping. Those of you up in Minnesota area, that's Target for you. Down here in the South, in Arkansas, that's Walmart for us. I don't know who it is for you, but we need a one-stop shopping. Here's your one-stop shopping on research. Some of it is NASSP's own research. Some of it, you can see the first couple ones here in this section, is College Board, but it's not limited to those. Okay? It's external groups, external researchers and stuff. If you need a place to start looking for relevant research for what you want to accomplish in your school, I'd encourage you to look here. Okay? Again, this research that is listed here varies by the module you're in. So all these are very specific to this data module that you're in. That's the research section. Just want to know more, other resources, a lot of links that will take you to other websites, other documents, PDFs that you can download that will expand upon what is built in this module here. So if you're in this module and you want to expand it, if you want to go deeper, if you want a small group to go deeper in here, here's a point that you can point your staff to, you can point your leadership or your staff or whoever's working on it to related items, but external items there. And you can see there's a whole bunch here. There's always readings in every section. So I just want to highlight, make sure you know those 2 areas are there. And again, that's in every module. The Want to Know More section is in every module, as is the research section. All right, so what we're going to spend the next bit of time here is looking at the actual activities. What is this website? What can it do for you? What can you get out of this? So again, we're in the using the data to assess and inform school change module. There are, you can see these 5 different collaborative activities. I'm going to, we're not going to go through it like we would if we were a school staff, but I'm going to highlight this school profile activity, and Maribel is going to come on and talk about this equity activity here. Okay? Again, I want to, at the point of saying it too much, I want to emphasize that these activities are built and the modules are structured such that they should be relevant to virtually every school in the country, whether you're primary school, elementary school, middle school, junior high, high school, whatever your grade configuration is. Everybody needs to use data for change. Everybody needs to develop their team skills on using that data. We're going to talk about the school profile here. Maribel is going to talk about the equity. Okay? That's relevant regardless of your context you're working in. Let's dive right into an activity and let you see what we're talking about here when we're looking at an activity. So in each activity, there will be a guide and a summary statement that explains what the activity purpose is. Okay? In this case, we're talking about identifying areas of success, deficiencies, achievement gaps, perceptual data, all those kind of things, with the key being in this first statement here, how do we make effective instructional decisions? Okay? We can't make the best decisions possible without that effective use of data. Okay? So there's the purpose statement. That gives you the purpose statement up here and then an elaboration on it. Right off the bat, the 2 things I want to point out to you are step-by-step process. You can see A, B, C, nice outline form, A, B, C with subcomponents here, 1 and 2. So you've basically got 5 major steps here, A, B, C, and 1 and 2. You've got, and D here, you've got about 5 major steps of this activity for this particular module, just one activity in this module. One of the things I appreciate about this website as a principal is it would have the information there for me. So if I'm going to take these steps here, taking my faculty through an examination of our data in our building, I'm going to have the tools that national experts have used and vetted and have provided to me. So all I have to do is be on this website. I've got the link here, and it's given me the tools to use, okay, right here that I can reproduce and use with my staff. This is out of one of NASSP's Breaking Ranks works, and it'll walk you through different types of data, give you some examples to look at. I don't know if this is fictitious data or if it's real school data that just isn't identified, but this looks like, you should be seeing, this looks like the kind of thing that we all have to deal with every day, every week, every month, looking at our kids' data. Okay? The resources are right there. Back to the activity. It'll give you the step-by-step of a way to walk through this. It'll give you the tools you need to and the resources you need to implement this. It gives you templates. We're going to look at a couple different templates here. So if, for example, if you were walking through this with your staff, you could use that link I just showed there with data that's not your school's, just so that as you're working with your staff, you can focus on the skill of analyzing the data without getting bogged down or maybe even distracted by looking at your own school-specific data. Build that skill set up for your staff, and then dive into looking at your own school's data. There are templates for those kind of things. Okay. Here is a template. You saw how quick and easy that is. I can click on the link. This one happens to be specifically focused on math, but you can, with minor adjustments, you can make this school-wide data, literacy data, ESL, special ed, GT, whatever you want to focus on. You can make it customized how you want to. You're encouraged to do that, but it will give you the templates you need to, in this case, collect the data. This module is really designed that these templates all build on themselves. Okay? So the first template, if you want to use it, if you want to skip it, that's fine. If you want to use it, helps your staff understand how to analyze data, something that you're going to have a variation on your staff's abilities. A second one is collecting that data. Are you collecting the data you need in your building? The third one is developing your profile. And then the last one is developing a plan, okay, an improvement action plan. What are you going to do now that you've identified your goals? It'll help you identify your targets and specifically work your way through developing this, with the end goal being change. This should not be an exercise that we just complete and put on the shelf. It should result in changes to the classroom and ultimately student performance. I'm not going to go into too much more detail about that. I want to make sure we leave time at the end for questions and make sure Maribel has time to give you another example of an activity. What I'll say in this particular module here, in this particular activity, I'm going on the assumption that we all agree that the best professional development is embedded and ongoing. Okay? It's on a month-to-month basis. It's not a couple days in August, maybe a couple days during the school year. The best PD is ongoing. Okay? It is longitudinal. It's the same thing we want in the classroom. Our professional development with our staff should be the same as what we want in the classroom. We don't want disjointed little distinct chunks of information that don't have that are not related to each other. We want things ongoing. These three templates and planning information pieces right here. This to me is probably a 2-month process of giving my staff time to go back and develop this. We come back to the faculty meeting, talk about it. We send them back out with the next step. We come back and talk about it. Again, your staff may be at a place where you need to skip one of those and move on. There's nothing specifically telling you have to do it a certain way, and there's nothing that would limit you if you were to skip a step that's listed here. That's the flexibility that's built into here. These are great tools. More and more schools across the country I'm seeing are again, the same thing we're modeling in the classroom when we're flipping the classroom, flipping faculty meetings. If you haven't given much thought to that, I strongly encourage you to do that. Talk about, with your leadership, talk about flipping your faculty meetings. Make your managerial kind of faculty meetings where you're disseminating information, doing paperwork, those kind of things. There's a time and place for that. We all know that. That's the business. Find a place to make that more efficient, more effective somewhere else. Put it in another format, whatever that might be for you, so that when you've got your staff together, you are truly doing development of them professionally. Here's a bunch of great tools that will help you get started on that. All of this is an ongoing improvement process. Okay, it's got a bunch of the pieces you need. Again, I encourage you to take this as it is, use it exactly as it's laid out, tweak it as necessary, adjust it, make it work for you. There's nothing prescriptive here. It is detailed enough that you can take it and go step by step the way it's lined out, but it is also flexible enough that you can take it and adjust it for your needs. Okay? I'm about to get on my soapbox and really get going crazy, so before I do that, I'm gonna step back, and I hope that gave you just a little overview of an example of an activity, but we want to make sure and get you another one. So I'm going to go to our programmatic equity link here. Here's another activity. We're still in the data module here, but here's another activity, and I'm going to let Maribel walk you through this one.
Great, thanks, Matt. I wanted to also reiterate, this was designed with those high schools and junior highs in mind as the anchor schools. However, my school is a pre-K through 5th grade school, and I can use these same modules with my pre-K and kindergarten teachers, my 4th and 5th grade teachers, just as easily as you could with junior high and high school teachers. It really is just about best practice for adult professional learning. And you'll see that if there are things in there, some of the videos or some of the questions that need to be tweaked to your particular level, it can very, very easily be done. Again, I could just ditto everything Matt said. He did a great job. But on this programmatic equity, again, at the top with the activity guide, it always gives you the purpose for this module. And so, like Matt said, you can go through all of the activities in order. When you pull up that data, that data big heading, if you wanted to, you could do activity 1, then activity 2, activity 3. the way I use Leading Success website is not so organized. If there's something that we are working on as a school or as a district that I really want to strengthen with my teachers, I'll go to Leading Success and see if there's a module that fits with that. So I'm going to skip around. I may do one here, one there. So I'm going to skip around. I really, the great thing about the activity guide is if you are skipping around or you want to see if there's a module that fits something you need to do with your faculty, you can read that really quickly, get the purpose of the whole module, and know if that is going to fit. You can see under the activity guide, it gives the reading, and in blue is highlighted the link. Matt talked about being able to pull that off and print it up to everybody. I'm trying to save money. I'm not printing it up for everybody. I tell them, bring your laptops, and they are going to click on that link, and they are going to read it online in faculty meeting. Or or I can ask them to go to the Leading Success website prior to faculty meeting, pull that link up, and then they can come having already read that and be ready for the discussion part, already have that background. And so I love having that link there because it saves me from having to copy, and the teachers can pull it up anytime. The process part is very specific, which is so nice. I know that I can trust these modules, that I can trust the process, I can trust the questions, because they have been developed by experts in the field and using current research. And so the process is very, very easy to understand. Like he said, this one has A through G of exactly what you do, first, second, third, and on down. The great thing about the process being so specific, not leaving anything to guess, is I will frequently recommend Leading Success to others who are going to be doing professional development. I work with other principals around the state that I don't know so well. I work with coaches who are working with other schools. And sometimes I will recommend this site not knowing the skill of leading adult learning of the person who will actually be using it. But I never hesitate to recommend it because it is so, it is spelled out with such detail. Just this past week, I was talking to two coaches in the state who are working with a high school that really wanted to work on student voice. And I said, oh, you have to go to the Leading Success website. There's a section on student voice. I don't even know what school they're using, but I was confident because I know the detail that Leading Success does their process, that whoever it was, whether it was going to be a principal or an instructional facilitator or whomever, or one of these coaches, they would be able to pick it up and follow. Another thing that I really, really like about the modules is the questions. The person who put the modules together, or the people who put the modules together, really did an excellent job with the questions. They are deep thinking questions, and I love that those are already there, that I'm not having to think about what kinds of questions are going to be aligned to the results that I really want, what kinds of questions are going to elicit deep thinking conversation, because we all know that you learn when you talk and process what you've read. Just reading the articles or just seeing the video isn't going to cause as much learning for your adults, isn't going to cause action. It's the conversation, the reflective conversation, the summarizing conversation, those deep thinking conversations that people are having as a result of what they've read or a result of what they have seen or the data that they have gathered. And so one of my very favorite things are those deep thinking questions, the great reflective prompts that really get that dialogue going with the faculty and have them talking about the right things and talking deeply about what it is that you want them to learn. Like Matt said, you can progress through it as quickly as you want to because those links are available. They can get started beforehand. There are things that you can have people do independently, or you can do it all as a part of your faculty meeting. But it is It is embedded in the work. It's embedded in the job. It's not something you know, that you'll go away from and not have support with. This is something that is so easy to do as a faculty, as a part of your work, and have that support built in. So I also highly recommend Leading Success. I don't think it requires a webinar or a great training to go in and learn how to use it, because it is spelled out so much. My advice to you would be just to click on each one of those big headings, look at all of the things that are listed below, go to the next big heading, click on and see what all the things are that are listed below, and just start thinking about how this work can support what you are doing in your school. And then don't hesitate to recommend it to other people, because it is that easy that you can just pick it up and use it tomorrow in your school if you see something that captures your attention. So back to you, Matt.
One of the questions that, thanks Maribel, one of the questions that someone chatted in, and I'm sorry I can't see who actually submitted it, but a question was, quote, do you have to go through the modules in a sequential order? And I'm going to go back to the main page so we can see all 10 of them at a time. And my answer to that, and I hope NASSP, I hope I'm speaking accurately for their intention. Maribel and I are not employees or anything. We're practitioners like y'all. I don't believe the intention has ever been that this should be a sequential process. What Maribel is actually answering that question, what she said there right at the end. The way I always use this, and Maribel's talking about encouraging other people to do it, is use it for what your particular need is. If it's something you're doing okay that you want to get better, if it's something you're really not doing. Student voices in the hallway, for example. When I first started my principalship, I did a terrible job with that, and I saw other schools doing it, and I had some other things going well, but we just really didn't get that student voice. And I think our school was lacking, and we really started focusing on that and using some of the tools in here, and it drastically changed our school. So there's not any intention, and I'm getting confirmation here from NASSP that their intention is what I'm describing there. It's not sequential in any way. So thank you, whoever asked that question. If that didn't completely answer it, that's fine. Let us know. Just chat back in there and tell me more specifically what you're looking for there. You can bounce around this website module to module. Within the module, the activities are not sequential. And the same thing, find an activity within a module that is what you want to focus on. Life's too short. You don't have enough time to be spending a lot of time looking and having to develop all this stuff on your own. Use the resources that are there. Another person has chatted in a question. Oh, great question. I'm a counselor. Can I use this tool? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm sorry I didn't make that more clear. This is for anybody that wants to improve their school. If you fall into the category of wanting to improve your school and or district, this is a tool for you. Specifically to this counselor that's asking this question, absolutely yes, you can use this tool. Not only that, there is this, I couldn't remember which one. You can see module number 9 here has some very specific counselor role type items in there. All of these module pieces are relevant to anybody in the school. Some of them, just because of our different natures, administrators have a little role that might be a little different than teacher, leader, counselors. You have a unique perspective that some other people in the building don't see. You know, you've got that building-wide perspective, but you're not an evaluator, those kind of things. Very specific tools in there, and I think I appreciate having this specific module number 9 in here, talking about that role that counselors can play. Not to get on my soapbox, but I think sometimes counselors can be underutilized in really improving multiple facets of our school. So you can see here, I just wanted to pull that up so you can see the summary statement about what this module is about. They're not just being trite when they use the word essential. Counselors are essential to school reform. It's got to be a vital part of your school there. So coaches, facilitators, instructional leaders, team leaders, whatever different terms you call in there, anybody can use this site and it be relevant and useful. Great question. Thank you all for asking those questions. I'm looking to see if there's any other ones. Okay. At this point, I'm going to go back to our PowerPoint here. Joe, hand it over to you, Joe, with our contact information and whatever wrap-up you want to do.
Okay. Well, if you have other questions that come to mind or you'd like to follow up on this, you have our contact information there. You can certainly email me, Maribel, or Matt. We'll be happy to respond to your questions or anything you'd like to for us to address. And I thank Matt and Maribel for joining us this afternoon and facilitating this conversation. I want to tell you about something else as we wrap up this event, to tell you about a face-to-face event that's coming up, if I can get, there you go, thank you. I'd like to invite our audience to join their colleagues at NASSP's next professional development face-to-face gathering. The NASSP conference, Ignite 15, will take place in San Diego, California on February 19th through 21st.